Welcome everybody. My name is Yamil Senior. Welcome to tonight's hangout. And today you definitely do not want to miss this, my friend. So take out some a pen and paper. Get ready to take some notes because we are definitely going to be sharing some golden nuggets here today. And my guest here, Paul Hutchings, is running a little late. He'll be hopping on later on. But first of all, I want to basically bring like a little introduction and show you exactly what we're going to be seeing in tonight's hangout and exactly what you're going to get out of it, basically. So the thing is, when I got started in online marketing, really, it was really not much of a challenge getting traffic. It was not much of a challenge getting leads and all that sort of stuff. It is a bit of a challenge just setting up, just having the proper tools, having the proper skills as well to basically market online. But really, when it comes down to getting traffic, when it comes down to getting leads and that sort of stuff, it's not really that hard. But in the process of converting those leads into sales, that is a whole new different ballgame in itself. So that is really what I wanted to basically focus on this hangout. So today, my friend, we're going to go over exactly what it takes to start converting those leads into sales. So it's actually something that you can start going out there applying right now, today, and start changing your results dramatically, my friend. So you definitely want to pay close attention, and you definitely do not want to miss this, my friend. So here's what we're going to do. I'm basically going to give a bit of an introduction. Okay, you're going to wait for Paul Hutchings to come join us, and then we're going to let Paul share his vision. Right. So okay, let's get started, my friend. So the first thing I did, when I got started online, I was brand new. I didn't know anything about marketing online. I came from the traditional MLM where you invite your friends and family and hit them over the head with your deal, and if they don't join, then you got to go to malls and supermarkets and movie theaters and invite people out of the blue, and it's really uncomfortable. It's really not something I wanted to do. It's something that certainly works, and it works for some people. But for me, it was not something that I wanted to do, that I wanted to focus on. I wanted something that I could leverage my time and my efforts in which I don't have to be in front of the computer 24/7 in order for it to work, or I don't need to go to a hotel meeting, I don't need to be on the phone, I don't need to do all those stuff. If I can leverage everything that is
Hey, what's up, dude?
available. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
How's it going, man?
It's awesome.
Good to
Thanks for
see you.
joining us.
Yeah, hey, let me see if I can get the lighting a little bit better. Hold on just 1 second, okay?
Okay. So I'm basically just rambling here. Just, I'll let you. Well, basically, I'm just rambling here, sharing a little bit of my story here, and then we'll do a little ping pong action here with the audio. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I forgot what I was saying. This happens a lot to me. I'm kind of some people have ADD. I have ADHD. The thing is, okay, so basically, when I first got started online, okay, I had no idea of the industry, what it takes to succeed in this industry. So what I did was actually go out there and start trying everything. I did solo ads, I did PPC, I did banners, I did blogging, I did video marketing, I did Facebook marketing, I did Twitter, I did LinkedIn, everything that has to do with traffic, any single way that you can think of getting traffic, I did. Found out that some things I had patience for, some things I didn't have that much patience for. It's really about what you find your comfort zone, what's really more comfortable to you. But more than that, I got the process of getting traffic. Traffic is not really that complicated. A lot of people are focused on how do I get traffic, how do I get leads, how do I get traffic, how do I get leads, and it's really not that important. It's really just the easiest part of marketing. Really, is just getting traffic and getting leads. But what it's really what we really should be focusing on, and was really the topic of this whole hangout, is focusing on how to convert those leads into sales, and also how to target those leads to know that that person is specifically looking for what you're offering. So basically, having said that, Paul Hutchings has just been an unbelievable force in multiple companies. And Paul, why don't you share your story a bit, and basically, yeah, do whatever you want to do, man. Just
so we're live, huh?
Yeah, we're live, my friend.
What time did you get started?
Got started 8 Eastern. It was
8
about
Eastern.
7 minutes ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Well, right on, man. Well, hey, man, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, me too. You too, man.
It's good to be here. I really appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you being here.
And I appreciate your persistence too, because like you checked with me like 3 or 4 months ago, right? And you're like, hey, dude, can we connect for a hangout? And I was like, man, I'm super focused getting this thing done. And check back with me. So you followed up. So good job on the persistence, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm stubborn as hell, man. I guess.
Well, that's what it takes, man. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it takes. So, well, cool. So, what's the topic? What are you guys talking about? I don't even know what's going on. I heard you talking a little bit about traffic and conversions.
Yeah.
So
Basically,
yeah, go ahead.
What I was saying just now is that it's really important to have the focus on more than the traffic and more than the how-to, the principles of how to convert those leads into sales, and basically the sales principles, of marketing in general.
Yeah, it's like I remember David Wood in an Inner Circle Audio was talking about how he's like, guys, you don't need leads. He's like, that's not what you need. You need sales, right? You need sales.
Right.
So yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. Well, cool. Well, to everyone out there on the Hangout, hello. Good to see you, although I can't see you. Although I imagine that you're awesome wherever you're at. So appreciate you being here. And so I'll just share a little bit of my story, just in case there's people out there that don't know who I am or don't know anything about me. So my name is Paul Hutchings. I'm 34 years old. I'm like Jim Rohn used to say, I'm just a farm boy from Idaho. That's actually where I live. Grew up on a farm. Actually, my grandfather has a 160-acre farm here in southeast Idaho, and grew up, did what everyone told me to do. Went to school, graduated from college, got a good job with a Fortune 500 company, and I thought that was the path to happiness. And what I quickly realized was that it wasn't. I was working this job, and I started experiencing, I call it the joys of corporate life. Like, have you ever? What kind of jobs have you had, Yamil? Have you ever worked in a corporate environment before? Or?
Not really. I mean, I've basically avoided that whole scenario my whole life.
Yeah. That's wise. Yeah. Yeah, so I just I had a few experiences that caused me to realize that that's not where I wanted to spend my life, and I share these stories all the time, but I'll share just a couple. I remember my first year wedding anniversary, and I was working for this company, just got this job, and just got married, and we're having our anniversary come up, and the boss comes to me and he says, Paul, we need you to fly down to Phoenix to do this company meeting. And I was like, all right. I was like, when do you want me to go? And he's like, this weekend. And I was like, shoot, it's my first year wedding anniversary. And I was like, is it all right if I check with my wife? And he's like, well, yeah, I guess, check with your wife. So I called my wife. Her name's Corinne. I was like, Corinne, company wants me to fly down to Phoenix, do this meeting. I really want to spend our anniversary together, but what should I do? She's like, well, you better go. You better go, because it's how we're providing for our family. So I fly down to Phoenix, and I remember sitting in a steakhouse on a Saturday night. It was our wedding anniversary. Did meetings all day long, and I'm sitting there in this restaurant eating dinner all by myself. And I remember picking up my cell phone and calling my wife and just, saying, "Happy anniversary, honey. I wish I could be there." And just had this experience where I was just torn away from my family because that's what the company wanted me to do. And what made it worse was about 6 months later, I'm in my review with my boss, and my boss is like, "Paul, you're doing good here, 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 and here." And he's like, "One thing we're concerned about." And I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "We're concerned about your loyalty to the company." And I was like, "Really? Like, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, remember when we wanted you to fly down to Phoenix to do that meeting?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Remember you hesitated?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "It was my anniversary, dude. I just wanted to check with my wife." But just experiences like that made me realize that that I didn't want to spend my life like that. I didn't want to have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom or go on vacation. I didn't want to, play the corporate politic game that was like, just rampant in any corporate job. You see things like people getting promoted past you because they do a better job at schmoozing with the right people. Like, nothing to do with their performance, nothing to do with how well they're doing, nothing to do with how well they're serving the company or the customers. It's just they do a good job at schmoozing. And then I was just like, I don't want this for myself. So I started looking for other options, and and I discovered network marketing. And I was like, just like anybody, went to a meeting one night in a little dirty room here in Blackfoot, Idaho, where I live. And this guy had a whiteboard, and he was talking about this plan to be making 40 grand a month within the next 90 days. And there I am with my wife, she's pregnant, and I'm like, "Honey, like, this is way better than what we're doing, we got to do this." So. And I thought we were gonna be rich, I thought, man, this is it, game over, goodbye job. And so I went to work, and 12 months later, I've gone to meetings. I've called all my friends and family. I've passed out flyers in Walmart. I've memorized sales presentations. I remember sitting in the back room. We were actually living in a single-wide trailer house at the time, and I remember sitting in the bathroom every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, sitting on the toilet. My work starts at 8 o'clock, and I got this sales presentation. I'm just memorizing that thing, because Thursday night's coming, and I'm going to stand up in front of a room of people, and I'm going to give this presentation. So and I did that for a year, right? Weekly meetings, and and after all that, 12 months later, I'd made $0 after 12 months of that, right? That was my first experience in network marketing. Very common, very common. And I went from that to another company, 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 and that got me to back in 2010. I'd gone through about 14 different companies, and I was still living in a single-wide trailer house, and I'd actually quit my job because I convinced my wife. I was like, "Honey, maybe this isn't working because we're not all in. Maybe it's not working because we're not serious about, we're not serious enough about it. Maybe I need to quit my job." So my wife was like, "Okay, we got a little bit of savings. We're living in a trailer, so we don't have a lot of bills. So go ahead, quit your job." And what happened is I quit my job in June of 2009, and I thought, man, this is it. If I got full time to work my business, I was like, this is what I need. It's going to be, end of story. I'm going to be a winner, right? And what happened was I quit my job, and over the next 6 months, my income actually went down. And part of the reason it went down is because one of the company owners decided we were actually building a binary, which is a left leg and a right leg. And just in case you don't know what a binary, if there's people that don't know what a binary is, a lot of times in binaries what happens is you'll have this big long leg built for you because your upline is putting people down in the one leg, but you get paid on the lesser leg. So you only get paid on how that smaller leg matches up with the bigger leg. Well, we'd actually done a pretty good job of balancing the legs, so I was making, I think, about $1,000 a month. Not a lot, but that was like, wow, $1,000 a month. We're making some progress. And the company decided to take half of my leg and move them to another spot in the company. So at the end of 2009, there I am living in a single wide trailer house, 5 years of failure in network marketing, 14 companies, and this last and final venture is just messed up right before my eyes because the company owner decided to move half my downline. And so I was actually at a pretty desperate spot in my life, and I remember I tell this story all the time too because it's really where my big breakthrough came from. There I am, first part of 2010, living in a trailer, jobless. We got a few $100 a month coming in from my network marketing company. Living on savings. Savings are going down. I'd actually, in June of 2009, I'd actually canceled my family insurance because we didn't have money to pay it. And the first 2 weeks, 2 weeks into January, my wife takes our third son, Kyson, to a doctor's appointment, and for a checkup because he was born in December. And there I am, in this little room. I don't know if you guys have ever been in some of these older trailers, but they got like brown paneled walls, and I'm in this little tiny room, which is my office. I got my laptop up, and I'm trying to figure out this internet stuff because I'm thinking maybe this is what I need to learn how to do to break through. And I hear my wife come home from the doctor's appointment, and I walk out into the living room, and my wife she puts the baby down, and she's just in tears. And I'm like, honey, what's wrong? And she proceeds to tell me that our third son, Kyson, has a condition called craniosynostosis, which means the bones in his head are fused together. And basically, it's going to require a head surgery. Like, literally, they had to take 2 inches all the way down the top of his skull, and it's a $50,000 surgery down at a Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City. And I remember... I remember hugging my wife, and I remember telling her, honey, everything's going to be okay. She's crying, and I got some tears coming out of my eyes. And I remember saying that it was going to be okay, but I remember feeling something different. I remember feeling that, I don't know if it's going to be okay because what I'm doing is not working. And right around this time, there was right around this time frame. It was right around that time. I was putting my 2 oldest boys, we've got 4 boys now, at the time we had 3, my 2 oldest boys, Caden and Camden, I was putting them to bed, and I'd read them their bedtime stories and watched them go to sleep, and I was just sitting back there in the back room of this trailer house and looking at these kids, and it just hit me that my plan was failing. I was failing as a husband, I was failing as a father, I was failing as a provider. This network marketing stuff wasn't working. I'd been doing it for 5 years, tried all sorts of different companies, done everything that they told me to do, and it just still wasn't working. And I remember tears coming to my eyes, and I literally, the only thing I could think to do was pray. And so I knelt down beside their bed, and I prayed, to God. I was basically just like, God, if you're there, help me, because my plan is not working. And I remember a couple of things happened right after that prayer. And these 2 things were, as I think back on this story, they were really my 2 biggest breakthroughs. The first breakthrough happened when I got on the internet and I was doing some research. I was just trying to find, a solution to my problem. And I remember seeing this ad on this. It was a Google pay-per-click ad. And it was an ad that said, something like, generate leads for your network marketing business on the internet. So I clicked on the ad, I put my contact info in, and then I got a phone call from this kid named Daniel. And this kid named Daniel's a college kid, and he's like, and I remember the day I was sitting in my office. I was actually laying on the floor, and I had this whiteboard up, and it was this teeny little whiteboard, and I remember I had written up, it's funny I remember all this, but I had written on the whiteboard, I had traffic, and then I had a little arrow, lead capture page, and then a little arrow, and it said leads, and then a little arrow, and it said sales, and then a little arrow, and it said cash. Like, I'd drawn this diagram out because I was trying to comprehend in my mind, how all this stuff worked. So I'd written it out. Daniel calls me, and he's like, I was like, man, is this for real? And he's like, dude, he's like, yeah, it's for real. He's like, there's this guy named David, and he's pulling in like 20 and 30 grand a month and generating all these leads and kicking butt, and he tells me about this guy named David Wood, who is his sponsor. And I was like, right on, man, this is great. So I get into I get into this system, and right away I locate this training from David Wood, and I download it on my phone, and I start to listen to it. And it's just this training about generating leads on the internet, and I just remember thinking, man, this is it. Like, this is it. This is how I'm going to dig myself out of this situation. This is how I'm going to get out of the trailer. This is how I'm going to take care of my family. You know, this is my solution. And it was, right? That was one piece, was learning how to generate leads, and then obviously, like you were talking about, learning how to convert leads. And you know, we can talk a little bit more about that later if you want. But that was one of my big breakthroughs. And the other breakthrough, and just stop me if I don't want to take over your hangout, dude, or like ramble on too long. So just jump in here if I'm taking too much time. But the other big breakthrough I had was right after that prayer. I had this feeling, this sense that I needed to pick up the book Think and Grow Rich, and I needed to begin like a very serious study of the book. And I'd read the book several times before, but what I always did is I would read the book, and this is what I used to do with a lot of books. Like I would read the book, I'd kind of zip through it. You know, you're reading the book, you get all the way down, and you're like, that's a good one. What's next? You know, and then I'd pick up another book, and then I would start on the next book, right? And that's what I did with Think and Grow Rich. But I had this impression back then in 2010, and the impression was, you need to do what this book says to do. You need to, if it says to do something, you need to fold down the corner and you need to do it, right? And you need to keep reading this thing until you understand what the heck Napoleon Hill is talking about in this book. I don't know why that happened, but I just had this feeling that that's what I needed to do. So what I started to do, and it was right at the same time that I was learning how to generate leads on the internet, I started to practice what that book taught. And one of the things, you know, and many people who know, who read that book or have read the book, they know there's a major definite purpose and a self-confidence formula in that book. And I remember, you know, folding down the corner, I remember printing it off, and I remember just starting to memorize it. And every night, after my kids went to bed and my wife was still kind of hanging out in the house, they're in this 1984 single-wide trailer house. We're living on my grandfather's land, right? I didn't own the land. And I remember every night I would walk outside. I'd say, honey, I'll be back. You know, I'm taking off for a half an hour. And I would walk up and down my driveway, and I would look up at the stars, and I would pray first, you know, because I believe in God, and you know, that's something that's important to me. So I'd say this little prayer to God for help, for assistance, for guidance, and then I would say my major definite purpose and my self-confidence formula. And what happened to me was really interesting. I had a transformation, and the transformation was while I was walking underneath the stars every night, repeating, you know, David Woods says, you know, at the last event we were at, he said, if you want to make something happen fast, repeat, he says, proclaim your vision every day. Did you ever hear him say that? He says, speak your vision every day. And this is kind of what I did, like with the major definite purpose and the self-confidence formula. It was basically like I was speaking my vision every day. I was like, by the first day of December 2010, I'm going to have in my possession $3,000 monthly income, and I would repeat this, and then I would go through the self-confidence formula. And the transformation that I experienced was I went from a state of believing, or I went from a state of hoping, wishing, praying, having my fingers crossed. Oh, honey, I hope this works out for us. Oh, I hope this is the one. Oh, I hope this is, you know, this is going to be it. That's how I was for the first 5 years of my home-based business. I was hoping. I was hoping this was the right company. I was hoping this was the right meeting. I was hoping this was the right prospect. I was hoping this was the right team member. You know, oh, maybe this team member is going to do it for me. Maybe this one's going to explode. And I was just hoping. And hope is good. I mean, hope is something that we need, right? You know, Jim Rohn says there's little difference between the man who has lost his hope and the man who has lost his life. We got to have hope. Hope gets us out of bed every day. Hope gets us, you know, hope gets us dreaming. Hope gets us, you know, looking off into the future. But at some point, if we really want to have results in our business, we've got to take that hope and we've got to turn it into faith. And that's what happened to me in my driveway is I started going from hope to a knowledge. And the best way I can describe it is I just, when I was visualizing these checks, when I was repeating this definite major purpose and self-confidence formula and I was seeing these checks, I just started to get the feeling that I knew it was almost like it was already a done deal. Like I just started to know that this money was out there in the marketplace in people's bank accounts, right? It was out there, like floating in cyberspace or sitting in a bank account. The money's there, right? The money's there that we as entrepreneurs are having goals to generate. It's out there. It's right there. And all we have to do is perform the service necessary for that money to be deposited into our bank accounts. And I started to see that when I was proclaiming my vision and when I was repeating that self-confidence formula. So I started to know that the money was there, and I also started to know that I had the ability to serve the people, and I had the ability to get that. And I knew it was going to happen. And what happened was within 6 months of starting to do that diligently, I had the exact amount of money that I'd been visualizing in my mind. As a matter of fact, I was visualizing 2 checks. One was I was in a network marketing company. We were selling a liquid vitamin. And the other one was the system that I told you about that I joined. And my visualization was $1,500 from this and $1,500 from this. Well, I hit the $1,500 in the system, and it was the network marketing company that was lagging a little bit behind. And I remember logging in my back office on, I don't remember what day it was, but I remember logging in my back office and seeing that I had earned $1,498. And really it was $1,500, but there was a $2 check processing fee. So I remember seeing that like on my computer screen. It was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like this is the exact amount minus $2. It was only $2 off. And the only reason it was $2 off was because of the check processing fee. That was my breakthrough, man. I mean, that was it. It was a combination, and we talk about this a lot now. You heard Mike Hobbs talk about it on the conference call the other night. We used to say there's this formula for success, and it's mindset plus skill set times performance equals result. There's the mindset part, which is belief in your goal, belief in yourself, the knowledge that you have the ability to go out there and serve people, right? That's mindset, faith, decision, being able to make a decision and stick with it, being firm on the decisions that are important to be firm on, not jumping around from company to company, not jumping around from strategy to strategy. That's all part of mindset, and we learn that in Think and Grow Rich, right? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into the mindset, so you got to have that down, and then you got to have the skills down, and then you got to perform, and that equals the results that you're going to get in your life. And then Mike and I were brainstorming one time. We're like, well, let's drill this down even further. It's mindset plus list building times conversions, which is what you were talking about, Yamil, the first part of the call, equals the results. And I mean, it really is a formula, right? It really is a formula. So I mean, that's my basic story. And then obviously I've had much bigger incomes and other miraculous things happen on my journey. But really. If you ask me, what was the most important turning point in your entrepreneurial journey, that was it. That was it. So, thanks for listening.
That was amazing, man. I've never actually heard your entire story all the way through. I'm blown away right now, and a lot of the things I really want to basically reiterate something you were saying about basically the mindset of basically being an entrepreneur. And the thing is, a lot of people basically skip over that because they think they need to know how to get leads, or they need to know how to do SEO, or they need to know how to do this strategy, or they need to get this tool or whatnot.
Yeah.
And for me, when I got started online, I basically went with the noise. I basically went with all that people telling me, oh no, you need traffic, you need leads, you need this tool, you need this strategy.
Yeah.
And I went from strategy to system to system. I took basically every training available. I went through every single traffic site and all that stuff. And the thing that I realized at the end of the day is that mindset is actually what you need. It's actually more important to me than the traffic. I mean, the traffic is really easy to get once you know how to do it. You figure it out once, you can do it again and again and again. But the mindset is really, really what takes you over that hump, or that learning curve, that process. It's really, really what allows you to connect with those people and build that relationship. And if some of you were present in our previous hangout last week, we were basically talking about that. Basically any business is a relationship business. And if you're not building relationships, you're not in business. So the thing is, you need to have that mindset. And how do you obtain that mindset? It's through personal development, reading every day, listening to audios. Just like Paul was saying, he read Think and Grow Rich. It was an amazing book that every single entrepreneur should read. But don't just go through it and leave it aside. Actually follow through with what is in that book, and as well as any other book, or as any other training, or any other program, go through it in detail and do exactly what that says, because that is going to allow you not just to basically become a better person, but also have that vision that you can do this, and that's really, really the most important thing. If you can't believe you can do something, you're not going to do it. Another great book that was recommended to me by a good friend, it was called Psycho-Cybernetics. If you have a chance to read that, do it. It's basically the belief that whatever you envision yourself to be, you become. So if you envision yourself to be somebody who is never going to make any money online, or somebody who is never going to succeed at network marketing, somebody who is never ever going to be as good as Paul Hutchings or as good as David Wood or anybody else. The thing is, if you keep comparing yourself to those leaders and you see your results right now, maybe you're not having any results right now, and you have that as confirmation that indeed you don't have what it takes to make money in this industry, and that's complete bullshit. The thing is, you need to envision yourself as what you really are, and what you really are is a bunch of potential. Okay, you have incredible potential inside of you, right? And everybody has that potential. So, I mean, you just heard Paul's story. I mean, my story is maybe not that dramatic, but the thing is, when I was finishing high school, I was never an A student. I had all sorts of grades, and I was never really in line with the whole get a job, get a good education, go to college, and have security, and then retire, and all that stuff. I was never really in line with all that stuff. I wanted to basically dedicate to art. I wanted to be a musician. So thankfully, I had a mother who was very, very supportive of me, and she said, you know what, you want to be a musician? That's great, go for it. So I went to college. I went to study music, but all the while, I was thinking to myself, how in the hell am I going to make money? When you leave college, right, you're left there with the situation of how am I going to take care of myself, So it was really burning the candle at both ends, because making money through music is basically like finding a new job every single week. You need to go out there and find a gig to play with, and you need to find students, to give lessons. You need to find a studio maybe looking for a session artist, or anything like that. You're constantly looking for jobs and looking for ways to basically make any kind of money. And I didn't want to go into an office. Like I said, I constantly avoided that situation. And I didn't want to give up on the things that I loved, because society told me that I couldn't basically make a living by doing the things that I want to do, and not having to respond to somebody in a bullshit job that I hate and then work for it for 40 years And after I'm done with that, and now I'm 80 years old, and now I can go play music. I don't. I hate that idea. I reject it completely, right? So what I said is, how can I basically do something, anything that will give me a sustainable income in which I can continue to do the things that I love without having to give up. I see way too many people, way too many musicians, way too many photographers, way too many painters, way too many artists in general, dancers, who just gave up, blatantly just gave up, just went into a call center and worked for that call center for 40 years and regretted every single day of it. They regretted their whole lives because they decided to give up, basically. I didn't want to be another statistic, right? So I decided, hey, whatever it takes, whatever I have to do, I'm going to do to get out of this situation. And a friend of mine, a guitar player, told me about basically ambushed me. He called me on the phone and said, hey, I got this project for you to see. It's super awesome. Meet me at this hotel, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, we're musicians, right? So when he said project, I basically thought, okay, he wants me to see a band, maybe possibly a band, right? So I went to the hotel meeting. They pulled the curtain, and it's this MLM deal, right? At first, I was upset. I was mad. I said, what the hell did you bring me to? If they start talking, here's what I said, actually. I said, if they start talking about God or aliens, I'm out. So,
maybe the same thing.
Yeah. So they start giving this explanation on the product and all these beautiful things. It was this
God, aliens, and MLM. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah. So anyway, they start giving all the features on the product. It was this energy drink who basically kind of cured cancer or something like that. I don't know. I think they're still around. Anyway, not important. The thing is, when they got down to the compensation plan and they started drawing those circles, right, I was mesmerized because it never occurred to me that I could actually make money in a business that thrives by me helping other people, right? So that really, really attracted me right away. I saw the potential in this, right? So I basically did the traditional MLM deal, call your friends and family, call your grandma who's seen the presentation 1,000 times because every single relative is in this thing, right? And the thing is, I basically saw a very limited potential in that strategy. It definitely works, like I said. It works for some people, and some people are still doing it, and it works perfectly for them. But for me, it wasn't something that was really, really sustainable. It was a good education. It was the best way for me to not make money, right? So, yeah, I mean, it was great education, and it was a great experience as well. But then I decided, hey, you know what? Why not try the internet? And I told this to my sponsor, and they said, no, you can't go to the internet. That's forbidden. You can't go there.
The dark side.
So I basically said, I'm basically started doing internet presentations, kind of hush, not letting my sponsor know about it. But I started doing this internet presentations, and the thing is, I got an immediate better response. Because when I invited people to the live presentations, the hotel meetings, which is basically ambushing people and telling them, hey, you got to come to this hotel meeting, and I'm not really allowed to tell you what's going on, but just meet me there, and then they pull the curtain, and it's this MLM deal. Most people got upset. Most people wanted to storm out. Most people were really not open to receiving that message because it's basically I saw it as a way of me asking you to trust me enough to do business with me by first me lying to you, right? At first I'm lying to you and not telling you what exactly is up front, and then I'm asking you to trust me enough to do business with me. So I immediately said, this is ludicrous. So I turned to basically marketing online. I started doing presentations online, and the thing is, I had an immediate change in the response. Still I didn't make any money, but I had an immediate change in the response, right? People are no longer like, what is this thing that you're trying to push on me, but rather they're saying, okay, hey, that looks pretty good. Okay, tell me more about that. Okay, that sounds pretty interesting. So it definitely changes the perspective. So I saw that, and I immediately saw the potential on the internet, let alone the whole, you can basically leverage technology to get to a lot more people with the same effort, So it's basically me doing a hotel presentation. I can do that once on a video, and people can see that over and over and over and over again at their own time. That is what we do out here in the internet. That's the power we have to leverage that technology. So I basically got into that, and I basically changed companies. Like you said, Paul, we went from deal to deal to deal, and we basically been through all that. I went to this internet company, that sold. I think they sold like websites or anything, something like that.
You're not quite sure what you were selling. You just knew you could make money with it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I started marketing this thing online, right? And basically what I started to do was I started to go with the noise. I started to go with the noise of people telling me, oh, you need traffic, oh, you need leads, oh, you need this system, oh, you need this. So I said, okay, let me get traffic. Okay, let me get some leads. Okay, let me get this tool or this training or whatever. And I got traffic. I got leads. And hey, I got some sales, but I wasn't really leveraging I wasn't tapping into my full potential because I wasn't going into that mindset. I wasn't feeding my brain all the time. I wasn't reading books. I wasn't listening to audios. And here's, I was producing, and I was always producing. I was recruiting people every day, But the thing is, I started recruiting people, and the people that I brought in could not duplicate. For the life of them, they could not duplicate what I was doing. And I almost felt responsible because the people that were coming in, I was basically in the back of my head, I was thinking, you have no idea of all the struggles you're going to have to go through to actually make money with this thing. So in the back of my head, I felt responsible for these people, and I said, how can I help them? It really came down, how can I help my team to succeed? Because I don't want to just make money for myself, and I don't want to just, as I said, the first thing that I saw potential in this business was for me to make money helping others, right? So if I'm not able to help other people, and it's just me making money, which was really not that much anyway, but I wanted somebody to make some kind of money, right? So I started doing some research online. I started looking for solutions, basically looking for something, for a training, a mentorship, anything that I could plug my team into, and they could start producing results, right? So long story short, came to Empower Network, and I basically saw this guy, right, on the video. And like I said, I came from traditional MLM, right? People in three-piece suits, always in ties, very clean cut. And if you notice, I'm not really that kind of guy. I got long hair, tattoos, and I'm really not that kind of guy, I feel completely retarded in a suit. You know, I feel just out of place. So I see sometimes I was kind of doubting myself. I mean, should I wear a suit? Should I cut my hair? Or maybe I get more business that way. I don't know. But I see this video, right? And I see this guy, David Wood, right, with long hair like me. I think he had like a tank top with some grease stains on the shirt and some shorts and flip-flops. And at the time, he proceeds to tell me he's making about $100,000 a month. And I'm sitting there with my jaw open, like, are you kidding me? I can look like that and make how much money? So I ran, Paul. I didn't. Well, I ran to my bedroom to get my credit card to buy this thing. And once I got in, man, I saw the potential immediately because I said, this is something that I can give my team that's plug and play. Just go out there and produce. You don't need to set up anything. You don't need to do any sort of weird stuff. Take it and run.
Yep.
So I immediately saw the potential in this. But still, I didn't make a lot of money with it. And why was that? Because I was still focusing on getting traffic, getting leads, getting traffic, getting leads, getting traffic, getting leads. And I'm missing that part of the equation, which is converting those leads into sales. And the first thing that you need to have in order to do that is the mindset, right? But the cool thing that I found about the community here in Empower is, number one, you're basically plugged in every single day into that development, right? We have a Monday night call every single week, and where we have that, we have the leaders basically share with you that mindset, that experience, whatever they're going through every single week. We have the inner circle, which is something that you can take on your phone, right? You can take on your phone. You listen to it every day when you go to work, or where you go to the supermarket, or you're walking the dog, or anything. That on your downtime, you're listening to audios and you're changing your outlook on business and on life. And the thing is, whenever I'm listening to audios, whenever I'm reading a book or anything, I'm basically looking for $1,000 in here. I'm looking for $1,000 in here, right? Every single time I'm reading a book, right? And I'm looking for $1,000, right? What is in this book that is going to give me what I need, you know? And it's very, very, very important to maintain that attitude of saying, no matter what it takes, I'm going to do this. Because if you're out there just, okay, Jamil, I'm going to read a book, and you read the book, and you set it down, and you said, okay, now what do I do? If you're basically expecting for a solution to come from the sky, you're going to be sorely disappointed, my friend. If you're basically looking for a lottery ticket, or for, if you're basically coming to this hangout and expecting us to say, hey, buy this thing and you're rich, it doesn't work like that, you know?
And we could certainly sell them a thing, right? And we could say, buy this thing and it'll make you rich, but that's not an honest message. And there's a lot of people out there in the marketplace doing that, you know? It's unfortunate, but yeah, there's no magic pill, so to speak. You've got to do the work, and you've got to become the person that people want to be around. You got to become the person that people want to learn from. You got to become the person that people want to lock arms with and work with, right? I mean, that's a big piece.
Yes, exactly. And
so I think I wanted to. I apologize. I got to run here in just a few minutes, Yamil. My wife's heading out, but I think there's some really good lessons here. That you touched on, how you jumped around from company to company to company, and I jumped around from company to company to company. And one of the things that that I always want to make sure, like, one of the things that's in my heart is, if there's someone on the hangout right now that can learn from a mistake that I've made and not have to make that same mistake, that's priceless, right? I mean, that literally can shave years off of a person's journey. Because the bottom line is, regardless of the company that you're in, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to develop yourself. You're going to have to read. You're going to have to listen to audios. You're going to have to develop a vision. You're going to have faith. You're going to have to learn how to have a positive attitude. You're going to have to learn how to have a pleasing personality. You're going to have to learn how, to communicate with people. You're going to have to learn all of that stuff in any company you join, right? So that part is equal. But what is not equal that a lot of people don't know, and the reason why they don't know it is it's kind of like there's this story of this wealthy man. I just heard this the other day. There's this wealthy guy, and the reporter goes to the wealthy guy, and he's like, hey, wealthy guy, how'd you get wealthy? And the wealthy guy looks back at the reporter, and he goes, 2 words, good choices. And the reporter's like, huh. He's like, how'd you learn how to make good choices? And he says, 1 word, experience. And the reporter's like, huh. He's like, well, wealthy guy, how did you get experience? And the wealthy guy looks back at the reporter and he says 2 words, bad choices. Bad choices. And so I look back over my experience and I see that I made some bad choices. Now, it's not because I'm a bad guy. For the most part, it was because I didn't know. I didn't understand. I didn't know what to look for. But now that I've made a lot of those bad choices, I'm at a point where I feel like I understand what to look for, and just in case there's someone on this hangout right now who thinks that, I got to find a company with a hot product, or I got to find a company with a hot pay plan. I got to find a company that, has a great sales presentation. Unfortunately, there's no class out there. There's no class in college that you can take that says, here's how you evaluate a home business opportunity. Here's how you evaluate a company. And because there's no class in college that people can take, people are lost when it comes to what do I look for in a company, right? That's why you jumped around, Yamil, for a few different companies. That's why I jumped around for 14 different companies, thinking that it was the company, thinking that was all this other stuff, right? And what I learned, and here's what I learned, and I want to share this just in case there's someone watching right now that can learn from the mistakes that I made. There's a really important lesson that Yamil can share and I can share that can literally shave years off your journey. And here's how I learned it. I mentioned one of the first companies I was in took half my downline, moved it to another spot in another spot. Next company I was in, and I'll make this short, right? Next company I was in, I finally got to where I was making some money. Company owner calls a conference call with the leaders and says, and by the way, this particular company, they had this thing in the comp plan where you could get triple the payout if you hit this rank called executive vice president. And it was basically where you enrolled like 100 people or 50 people or something. I can't remember what it was. And so, but they were like, hey, this is too expensive for us, so we're going to take it away. But if you can qualify in the next 30 days, we will grandfather you in for life. So I'm like, dude, we got to get this because it's triple the payout. So I work my butt off. I got a team member who's selling his car so he can buy enough product to get to this level so he can qualify for life. So both myself and my friend qualify for life. We're getting triple the payout. Like 60 days later, company owner calls a conference call and says, special conference call. We're enhancing the pay plan. He gets all the leaders on the call. Here's what he says. You know this thing we told you about, how we were going to grandfather all you guys in? He says, nah, we're not going to do that. It's too expensive. We're eliminating it. Cuts our income. Cuts my income by 2/3, right? That was experience number 2 that happened. Let me tell you about one other one, and then I'll finish up and turn this back over to you. Another company I'm in, right? Finally, this is before Empower Network. 6-7 years of working this thing. Finally get to a point where I hit my first $10,000 monthly income. And I'm just ecstatic. I'm still living in a trailer house, but I'm making 10 grand a month, baby, and this thing is finally working, right? It's finally working, right? My team's happy. Our volume went from like, it started out low, obviously. It was like started out with 50 my points, and it went up to 3,000, 10, 5, 10, went up to 50,000, 100,000, 120, 140,000 a month in volume we're producing within our team. That's $140,000 a month in product that's moving. We're going up every month. It's just exploding. Company owner calls a conference call, and he says, guys, he says, I got this great idea. We're going to start a sister company. And we're gonna have two companies, and we're gonna have two auto ships. We're gonna have two companies, and this is gonna be great. And I'm sitting there listening to this, thinking, "You have got to be kidding me!" And what happened was my volume that was at 140 grand a month just went, just the brakes went on. Why? Because people got confused. They didn't know what to promote. Are we in this company? Are we in that company? Where's the vision, right? The Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. This was a literal experience of where that happened. The vision just got all blurry and messed up, and people got confused. And despite my best effort to hold it together, I'm doing conference calls, I'm crying on the phone, right, trying to keep people together. My volume just boom, 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 boom. My income, 10 grand a month. 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to 200 a month, right? And the reason I shared, I really wanted to share these, Yamil, is because you reminded me. You went through these experiences. I've gone through these experiences, and what I've learned after going through all of that stuff is when you look at a company. I mean, if you make the decision that I'm going to be free in this thing, I'm going to win my freedom. That's it, period. I'm going to do it no matter what. I don't want to have a stupid job. I don't want to have a stupid boss. I don't want to have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom and go on vacation. Dang it, I'm going to be free, right? Once you make that decision, the next decision that is crucial is which company do you join? Which company do you plant your flag with? Which company do you say, I'm going to stand and fight? This is where I know I got to do the work. I know I got to read the books. I know I got to develop myself. I know I'm going to have to do that no matter which company I join, right? Which company do I stand and fight with for as long as it takes to win my freedom? And most people have no idea what to look for. And Yamil and I are here to tell you right now, the number one thing you look for, the number one thing, so much more important than compensation plan. I mean, that's important. You got to get paid, right? And with Empower Network, we earn 100% commissions, which is just unbelievable, right? I mean, I was in a company. We built a team of 1,400 people, and my income was $1,000 a month. 1,400 people. Right? In Empower Network, you got to sponsor like 5 people. They hit that, 5 people at the inner circle level. So compensation is important, but a lot of people look at Empower Network and they're like, oh, it's 100% commission. That's all it is, right? That's not all it is, right? That's not all it is. The most important thing about Empower Network, the reason I'm here, the reason I will not be moved, the reason why things can come and flashy things can come and people can jump ship, and the reason I'm standing here and I will stand here, right? I will not be moved. The reason why is because the leadership. David Wood has a vision. Right? David Wood has a vision. He's going somewhere. He's going to create 100 millionaires a year. He's going to do it. That's it, period. He's got a vision. He's got a heart for the people. He's been through all the crap where the company owners pitch our teams on something else, and the company owners change the comp plan and steal our money. Company owners promise one thing and get us all going and excited where we're preaching the dream to our teams, and then the company owner gets everyone on and screws it all up. You see, David Wood's been through that. You see, David Wood understands that. You see, that's why Empower Network is in existence in the first place, is to provide a place where we don't have to deal with all that garbage. I mean, the entrepreneurial journey, anyone tells you it's easy, they're lying to you, because I believe it's easier than the alternative. I believe it's easier than working for 40 years and getting to a spot where you still can't afford your bills, and you're looking back on your career and saying, dang, I wasn't fulfilled. Dang, I wasted my life. Dang, I didn't reach my potential, right? The entrepreneurial journey is a lot easier than that, in my opinion, but anyone who tells you it's easy is really lying to you, because you got to develop yourself, right? And that's why it's kind of difficult, and you got to go through temporary setbacks, and you got to take a punch in the gut every once in a while. You got to fall down, you got to get back up, right? All of that stuff is going to happen, but David Wood said, man, if all that stuff's going to happen on our entrepreneurial journey, let's just get a place where people can deal with that and not have to worry about all this other garbage of company owners screwing people and changing the comp plan and, jumping ship and messing up the vision, right? So, if you're watching this hangout and you're thinking to yourself, I want to be free, and I'm determined to be free. That's the number one decision. Like Yamil said, you got to make a decision. I'm going to do this no matter what. My freedom is worth it. I'm in this. I'm going to do whatever it takes, right? That's decision number one. But decision number two is, where do you plant your flag? And I hope that someone out there can learn from all of the mistakes and all of the things that happened to me and happened to Yamil, and know that when you're looking at a company, the number one thing is leadership. And it's not, did this leadership go to Harvard or Yale? Does this leadership, have a pedigree? Does this leadership, that stuff may be nice and all that kind of stuff. But the most important thing, I believe, when you're looking for leadership is you got to look at the heart of the leader. You got to really, and it's not the easiest thing to do, right? And it's hard to do if you haven't experienced all of this of what not to look for, right? But you got to look at the heart, and you got to look at, David Wood. You got to look at his track record. He's had people cross-recruit. I've had people cross-recruit my team, and David Wood will not kick him out of the company. Why is that? Why would he allow somebody to do something? And don't get me wrong, he talks to him, and there's warnings and stuff, so it's not like he's just letting it happen, but he'll let him keep their check. Why is that? It's because he's sick of companies taking people's checks. He's sick of their money being stolen, so he wants a safe place, right? So even when we have a situation where someone's doing something stupid, maybe against, the best interest of the company, but he wants a safe place. He wants a place where people can be free, right? That's the heart, right? You ask David Wood, what is his exit strategy? There's a really popular company right now that's moving fast in the marketplace. A lot of people I know have jumped on board, and I'll tell you that. Let me tell you this, because this is insightful, and Yamil, you'll get a kick out of this. One of these leaders that kind of jumped ship and went to this other company and actually recruited some people from Empower. He calls me up on the phone to pitch me on this other company, and here's what he says. He says, my sponsor is he's just freaking awesome. He's God's gift to network marketing. And he says, my sponsor is so good that he looked at this company and he couldn't see anyone that was as good as him. So here's what he did. He called the owners of the company directly and joined under them. And this guy's telling me this story like it's supposed to impress me. Well, here's a guy who's been through companies lying to reps, who's been through companies stealing my downline, who's been through all of this, and that is supposed to impress me, that the company owner let a rep jump over the affiliates, jump over the distributors, and go straight to the company? That don't impress me. That pisses me off, because that screws the distributors, right? And that's the heart. See, that's the heart of the leadership that you got to look at. And you got to dig down deep and find out, what are these guys really feeling? What do they really care? I mean, do they really care about people, right? In this same company, I've had to have it on good authority that they're preparing for an acquisition, which is a sell of the company, right? Well, what's David Wood's acquisition strategy? It's death, right? He didn't start this company to sell it. He was making plenty of money before he started this company. That's not why he started the company. He didn't start the company to build it up, make a bunch of money, and sell it. He started the company for me and Yamil and you and all the people out there who want to have freedom, who want to have a safe place to build, who want to have a safe place to have a dream, who want to have a safe place to go through the journey that we all got to go through to become entrepreneurs and to become the people that we want to be. He wanted a safe place for people to transform where they wouldn't have to worry about all that other garbage. And so that's why David Wood's exit strategy is death. He's like, that's my exit strategy. Someday I'll probably die, and sorry guys, I mean, as much as I want to build the team forever, when I die, it might be kind of hard, right? But that's his exit strategy. So if you're looking for a place, to be free, and you're looking for a place to fulfill your destiny, and you're looking for a place where the leadership will believe in you, and you're looking for a place where the leadership, and I'm not talking about the posers, I'm talking about the leadership, right? What do you got to be a leader? Well, one of the things, in my opinion, you got to have is loyalty. Napoleon Hill said the number one thing you look for when working with people is loyalty. He says if you don't have loyalty, I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good of a talker you are, if a marketer you are. If you're not loyal, I don't want to do business with you, right? So that's the real leadership, is the people that are loyal. It's the people that are loyal to what David Wood did for us. It's the people that are loyal to the future. It's the people that are loyal to the reps. And so if you're looking for a place to plant your flag and build your dream that's going to be here for you, supporting you, not sticking you in the back. And hey, I hate to be negative, and I don't want to be negative, but that's been my experience in the vast majority, not the minority, not one or two, the vast majority of companies I've been in, it's felt like they've been sticking me in the back, right? And this is not that place. So that's what you look for, right? I mean, that's what you look for. So my invitation to you would be, if that sounds good and you're ready to go to work and you're ready to be serious and you're ready to be free in as short amount of time as possible, right? No promises, right? And we always got to do income disclaimer, check average earnings and stuff. But listen, in the shortest amount of time possible. How do you do it in the shortest amount of time? Well, you got to be making money for what you sell. You got to be making more than $1 or $2 when you sell a $60 or $100 product. I mean, if you're building an income in that kind of a deal, it's going to take you a long time. I mean, that's just the truth. But when you come to Empower Network and you can sponsor one person and have your product be paid for, and then you're in profit, and every new customer you sponsor at whatever level, is it $25 or $100 residual on top of what you're doing, and then you got one-time products where you can earn $500, $1,000 commissions. That compresses time. That allows you to say, hey, listen, my goal's $3,000, my goal's $5,000, my goal's $10,000. I can go out and do that this month. Even if nobody else does anything, I can do it. It puts your destiny in your hands. You know what happens when your destiny's in your hands? Your team wants to duplicate because now their destiny is in their hands. They don't have to worry about whether or not their team's going to go produce. They don't have to hope and pray that, man, do I have the right lottery ticket? Is this guy going to go out and make me $1 million? You don't have to worry about that because your destiny's in your hands. See, I mean, I'll tell you, I could talk for another 4 hours about this company, about this vision, about where we're going, about how we haven't even scratched the surface as to where this company's going. I'm telling you guys, this company has a destiny, and it's a baby right now. It's a baby. So my invitation to you, if you're not in, get involved with Yamil, join, right, get started. And if you are in, please realize what you've got, right? Please understand and realize what you've got. This is a gift. I'm telling you, this is a gift. Guys like David Wood, they don't come along. I mean, I've only met one. I mean, number one, someone who has the heart that he has, and number two, someone that has the skills and the experience and the communication and the leadership and the heart. I've never seen another person like it, honestly, right? I've heard about it, right? In the past, there's been legends, but I've never seen it. So we've really got something special here. So, brother, thanks for having me on tonight. I appreciate it. I admire what you're doing, man. You're a leader, dude. Look at you, man. You're doing hangouts. You're speaking life into people. You're sharing your story. So keep up the great work. And hey, man, let's go change the world.
Oh, awesome, man. Thanks for being here. I mean, what you've just been sharing for the last half hour here is just unbelievable. And if really I could just take a little bit of what you just said and loop it over again and again and again and have it plant into people's minds, that I would be a very, very happy guy. I would tell you that. It's very, very important to have that heart, to understand that you're getting involved with the people that are basically in with the same vision that you have, you know. And Paul can tell you, I can tell you that so many companies out there just really in it for themselves. They're just really out there just to fill their pockets. The thing is, we're here because we want you to succeed, okay? We're here because we have the same vision as you do. We wanted to escape a job. We wanted to escape a bad situation. We wanted to provide for the people that we love. And
hey, brother, I hate to. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I gotta run. I gotta go watch my kids because my wife's heading out. So they're
okay.
gonna be fatherless if I don't if I don't get out there. So turn it back to you. Close it out, man. Have a great night. And again, thank you. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay. Thanks for being here,
All
man.
right. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Yamil. Have a great night. Bye bye.
You too, bye. Okay, guys. So anyway, I wanted to basically reiterate just what Paul was saying. It's very, very important to have that vision. It's very, very important to whatever it is that you're building out there. It doesn't really matter what you do. Just like Paul said, you're going to have to go through that transformation. You're going to have to go through that personal development or that mindset. That is a given. You have to do it no matter what you're involved with. But once you do that, you're able to build a business anywhere. But you don't want to build a business just anywhere, right? You want to build a business with people who have the same vision as you, who basically want the same thing that you want, right? So what I want is to help you achieve your goals, your missions, your income goals, right? And there's a link underneath this video to the income disclosure. Okay, there are no promises, obviously, because this is a business, you know. However, we do have amazing results, and we do have amazing stories over and over and over again. People who were crippled, who basically could not work anywhere, could not find a job anywhere, and started making incredible amounts of money with the system. So, guys, it really comes down to the vision, right? And if we share that vision for the world, and it really comes down to, guys, what is your vision for yourself? It really comes down to, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? Do you want to go through the same mistakes that Paul and I did? Do you want to go through all that hassle and all the hurts and hang-ups? Do you want to go through all that? Or wouldn't you just rather take our advice and save all of that time? And save all that money and frustration? You wouldn't believe the amount of money I've lost. Completely gone, vanished, on traffic. On traffic and leads, just what I was talking about the beginning of this video. Traffic and leads, I lost I must have lost more than $5,000 worth in traffic. Did that stop me? No. Because I have a vision for the future. And I'm surrounded by people who have the same vision for me. See, it's very, very difficult to stay motivated, to stay focused, if all the people around you are just pitching stuff for the sake of pitching stuff, or all the people around you are constantly screwing you over. Just like Paul was saying, oh, we cut the commission checks in half, or we changed the compensation plan, or we moved this to this, and suddenly nobody knows what the vision is anymore. So why go through all that? Why go through all that? So if you're here right now, and if what I'm saying, if what Paul said resonates with you, if you can relate to what I'm saying, even if you're offended at what I'm saying, even if you feel so outraged that I'm maybe stepping on some toes here, even if you're offended, but you know deep in your heart that we're telling you the truth, and that you know that our heart is with you, then what you need to do right now is click the link beneath this video and get involved right now. Because let me tell you something. Once you make that decision, we're going to run with you, not in front of you, not behind you. We're not going to look down on you, look up at you. We're equals, okay? We're here to basically take over the world. This is a movement, my friend, okay? So once you lock arms with us, we're going to run with you. We're going to encourage you. We're going to speak life into your dreams. We're going to cheer you on. We're going to lift your arm up like you just knocked somebody out in the 10th round. And that's what I want to do more than anything. And the thing is, like Paul was speaking about his vision, right? He was just speaking about how he envisioned a check in front of him, right? And I do that as well. But one of my biggest visions is to go to some city, I don't know, anywhere where we're having an event. And just have people. You change my you, the person watching this video, look at you in the eyes and tell you you can do this. And you believing that, and you embodying that, and actually going out there and doing it, and realizing all along all the potential and all the power that you had inside of you all this time. Now, isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want to achieve? So, my friend, take it a decisive action. Take decisive action. Make a decision right now. Click the link beneath this video. Let's lock arms. And my name is Yamil Sr. I'm the Prosperity Ninja, and I'm going to get you whatever you want in life, and that's my mission. Okay? That's my heart. That's my vision. My friend, thanks for being here. I'll see you next week with another hangout. Take care.